Working hard every single day is actually a very dangerous financial trap for most people. Most people believe that trading more hours for money is the only way to get wealthy. This is the biggest lie that the modern educational system has ever told the middle class. Your monthly paycheck is a treadmill designed to keep you running fast in the same place. You are running faster and faster, but your real net worth is not moving at all. Take a very close look at your bank account balance from 3 long years ago today. Compare that old number to the amount of money you have in your account right now. Prices for basic food and gasoline have soared far beyond what most people can actually afford. Your hard-earned savings are losing their real purchasing power every single second of the day. Inflation is a silent thief in the night that steals your time and your life energy. It slowly destroys the value of the currency you worked so hard to earn and save. Whether you are 30, 40, or 50 years old, the rules of money remain the same. If you are still trading your limited hours for dollars, you are building someone else's dream. You are funding a corporation's future while your own financial freedom remains a distant dream. Today, we will reveal the gap theory that the top 1% use every single day. The wealthy stay ahead of the curve, while the rest of the world drowns in debt. This video is not a get-rich-quick scheme or a fake promise of instant overnight success. This is about the cold and brutal mechanics of how money actually works in the world. Your school never taught you these fundamental rules because the system needs productive and compliant workers. Your safe investments in traditional bank accounts are actually your biggest financial risks right now. Stop being a lazy saver who hopes that the banking system will take care of you. Start being a strategic compounder who understands how to multiply wealth through smart asset allocation. The third point in this script will absolutely shock your current understanding of personal finance. This single mistake costs most average investors millions of dollars over their entire working lifetime. Watch this video until the very end to understand how to escape this invisible financial cage. Your human brain is biologically wired for survival in the wild, not for building modern wealth. Our ancient ancestors thrived by consuming every available resource immediately to survive another difficult day. In the past, tomorrow was never a guaranteed thing, so immediate consumption was a smart strategy. This is exactly why a 10% discount at the mall triggers your brain so easily. You think you are saving money, but you are actually spending capital on things you don't need. This psychological phenomenon is known by behavioral scientists as the hyperbolic discounting effect in humans. We naturally prefer small rewards right now over massive and life-changing rewards in the distant future. This biological glitch is exploited by every major retailer and credit card company in the world. They use your own brain chemistry to drain your wallet before you can even realize it. Let us look at the story of two different people named John and Sarah today. John earns a high salary of $150,000 every single working year. He buys a flashy red sports car and lives in a very large and expensive house. He puts his remaining money into a standard savings account because it feels very safe. Sarah earns a much lower salary of only $70,000 per year in her job. She lives in a modest apartment and spends her weekends studying the concept of asymmetric risk. John looks much richer on paper because of his high income and his expensive luxury toys. But John is actually a slave to his high consumption lifestyle and his massive monthly bills. His expenses rise every time his income increases, which is known as the lifestyle creep trap. The bank takes John's safe savings and lends it to others at 10% annual interest. They give John a pathetic 0.5% return while they keep all the profits. Inflation is running at 5% or even higher, destroying John's wealth from the inside out. John is literally paying the bank to lose his own purchasing power every single year. The US dollar has lost over 95% of its value since the year 1913. John does not understand this history, so he continues to save a failing and weak currency. This is the silent erosion that slowly destroys the dreams of the working middle class. John sleeps peacefully while his dollars shrink in value due to hidden taxes called inflation. He thinks he is winning the game because the numbers in his account stay the same. But the real-world value of that money is disappearing into thin air every single month. This psychological trap keeps millions of people stuck in a cycle of perpetual and exhausting labor. They work for money that loses value faster than they can actually earn or save it. It is exactly like trying to pour water into a sieve that is full of holes. Sarah understands that the sieve has holes, and she decides to build a different container. She focuses on maintaining her purchasing power instead of just collecting more paper currency units. She builds a solid stone tank labeled assets that does not leak any of her wealth. Inflation is not just about rising prices for bread, milk, and eggs in the grocery store. Inflation is actually the deliberate expansion of the total money supply by the central banks. When the government prints more money, the value of the money in your pocket always shrinks. It's a hidden and regressive tax that hits the poor and the middle class hardest. The wealthy own assets that inflate in price, along with the general rise in the money supply. Real estate prices and stock market values go up when more currency enters the financial system, but your wages always lag behind the cost of living, creating a permanent and growing gap. This lag creates a wealth gap that is almost impossible to bridge just with hard work. In the 1970s, one single income was enough to buy a house and support a family. Today, two full-time incomes can barely pay the rent for a small apartment in most cities. This is not because you are lazy or unproductive in your daily job or business. This is because the underlying currency is fundamentally broken and disconnected from any real value. The gold standard was officially ended in 1971, changing the world of money forever. Since then, all money has become fiat, which means it exists only by government decree. Fiat paper can be printed infinitely by banks without any real limit or physical constraint. Your time and your life are finite and cannot be printed or replaced by anyone. This is a fundamentally unfair exchange of your vital life energy for infinite pieces of paper. You must stop trading your precious life for paper that the government prints for free. You must start trading that paper for real assets that the government cannot easily print. Assets are things that produce more value and cash flow over a long period of time. Real wealth is built by owning things that cannot be diluted by the central banking system. Wealthy people do not work for money. They spend their time building systems that work. Wealth requires the mastery of what we call the 4 pillars of modern financial leverage. The first pillar and most common pillar is capital, which simply means using money. Money should be treated like a soldier in your personal army that works for you. You must send your soldiers out to battle so they can bring back more prisoners. Leaving your money to sleep in a standard bank account is a waste of potential. While your money sleeps, the enemy of inflation is burning through your vital supplies. Compound interest is often called the 8th wonder of the world by the most successful investors. But this magic only works if you have the discipline to start as early as possible. The second pillar of leverage is labor, which involves hiring other people to do work. You should hire people for low-value tasks so you can focus on your highest-value work. Your time is worth much more than the cost of hiring someone to mow your lawn. Do not clean your own house if your hourly rate is higher than a cleaner's. Focus your energy entirely on high-level decision-making and building new systems of wealth. If you earn $100 per hour, you should pay $20 for help. The $80 difference is your profit and the price of your own personal freedom. The third leverage pillar is code and content, which is the ultimate modern tool. This video is a digital asset that works for me 24 hours every single day. It works across the entire globe while I am sleeping or spending time with family. Digital assets never ask for a raise, and they never get sick or feel tired. Software and media are the ultimate leverage in the digital age of the 21st century. You can write code once and then sell it 1,000,000 times with zero extra cost. You can create content once and it will play for a global audience forever. This is exactly how modern billionaires are made in the era of the internet. The fourth and final leverage pillar is the network, which means the people you know. Your inner circle of friends and advisors will ultimately determine your level of net worth. Stop talking to people about Netflix shows and professional sports every single day. Start talking to people about cash flow, tax strategies, and equity in growing businesses. Tune your mental frequency to producer mode instead of always being a passive consumer. Your network provides you with asymmetric information that the general public does not have yet. High-quality information is the most valuable currency in the modern information-based economy. Knowing a major trend early can make you rich beyond your wildest dreams and goals. Knowing a trend too late only makes you the exit liquidity for the smart money. Look at the current global market trends with a very critical and analytical eye today. The world is changing faster than the average person can actually process or understand. We are currently in a debt supercycle that will change the entire financial landscape. Traditional investment portfolios of 60% stocks and 40% bonds are failing everyone. Bonds and stocks are now falling together, leaving the average investor with no safe place. The old financial advice from your parents is officially dead in this new economic reality. Do not just blindly buy index funds and hope for the best over 40 years. You must be much more surgical and deliberate with your capital in this volatile environment. Look for asymmetric returns, where the potential reward far outweighs the total risk involved. Limit your downside as much as possible while maximizing your potential for massive upside growth. Think deeply about new technology, specialized real estate, and building your own personal brand. These are the new gold mines of the digital era that will create massive wealth. The top 1% think in decades, while the poor only think about the weekend. The middle class usually thinks about the month and how to pay their current bills. The wealthy think about the next generation and how to leave a lasting legacy. Delayed gratification is a true superpower in a world that is addicted to instant hits. Most people want the dopamine hit of a new purchase right now, today. The wealthy wait for the massive harvest that comes from years of patient investing. They understand the law of sowing and reaping better than anyone else in society. You cannot expect to harvest a crop where you have not planted any seeds yet. They embrace boredom and consistency because that is how true wealth is actually built. Successful investing is mostly about watching paint dry or watching grass slowly grow. Trading and investing are about waiting for the perfect setup and then acting decisively. They do not follow the herd because the herd is usually wrong and broke. When everyone else is greedy and excited, the wealthy become very fearful and cautious. When everyone else is fearful and selling, the wealthy buy every quality asset available. They love market crashes because they see them as giant sales for the rich. They understand the concept of risk management at a very deep and fundamental level. They never bet the whole farm on one single idea or one single asset. They diversify their wealth across different asset classes to protect against any single failure. They use debt as a powerful tool to build wealth rather than a trap. Good debt buys assets that pay for the debt and put profit in your pocket. Bad debt buys luxury toys that cost you money and steal your future time. Never use high-interest debt to buy a depreciating asset like a car or clothes. Most people fail after watching this video because they fall into the execution jab. Knowledge without immediate action is a completely useless and hollow form of power. Dopamine from learning feels good, but it does not change your bank account balance. Do not be an information junkie who just watches videos without ever doing anything. Do not be an action coward who is too afraid to take the first step. Analysis paralysis is a silent killer of dreams for many brilliant and talented people. Remember that a good plan executed today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. Start small with what you have, but the most important thing is to start. Here is your simple 12-month plan to rebuild your entire financial future and life. During months 1 to 3, you must audit every single expense in your life. Identify your vampire expenses and cut them out of your life immediately without hesitation. Cut every subscription you do not use and stop eating out every single night. Kill your high-interest consumer debt because it is a financial cancer to your wealth. Consumer debt is a trap that eats your future before it has even happened yet. During months 4 to 6, focus entirely on building your opportunity fund for investing. An opportunity fund is very different from a standard and boring emergency fund. An emergency fund is for survival, but an opportunity fund is for thriving in chaos. Wait patiently for the market to crash and the headlines to become very scary. That is when you buy high-quality assets at a 50% discount from others. Cash is mostly trash during inflation until the market finally crashes and burns. Then cash becomes the undisputed king of kings for the prepared and patient investor. During months 7 to 12, you must focus on leveling up your high-value skills. Increase your primary income by learning skills that the modern market actually values. Learn skills like coding, high-ticket sales, digital architecture, or complex and difficult problem-solving. The market only pays well for people who can solve very complex and valuable problems. Do not increase your lifestyle or spending when your income starts to rise quickly. Pour every single dollar of your surplus into the 4 pillars of financial leverage. Break the linear income trap that keeps you working for every single dollar earned. Linear income is a slow and painful death for your long-term financial freedom. Leveraged income is the only true path to freedom in the modern digital world. Build or buy an asset once and then get paid for it forever. Stop being a modern-day sharecropper who works on someone else's land for pennies. The gap between your current life and wealth is not filled with more work. The gap is filled with better and more strategic decisions about your limited time. Every single dollar you spend is a political vote for your own future self. Buying temporary toys is a vote for your own future poverty and struggle. Buying productive assets is a vote for your own future freedom and peace. Artificial intelligence is changing the world faster than we can ever imagine. Linear labor and basic tasks will be fully automated by machines very soon. Robots and software work much cheaper and more efficiently than any human worker. Simply working hard is now a commodity that a machine can do for free. Strategic judgment and high-level thinking are the only remaining values for humans. Creative ownership of assets is the only reliable path to wealth in the future. The middle class is being hollowed out by technology in the current economic system. In the future, there will only be owners of assets and workers for assets. Which side of that equation do you honestly want to be on in 10 years? You have two clear choices after you finish watching this video today. You can close this tab and forget everything I have told you right now. You can stay in the shrinking safe zone until it eventually disappears forever. Or you can accept the brutal truth and start building your own system today. Your time is your only non-renewable resource, so use it with extreme care. Invest in your own mind first, and then invest in your productive assets. Build your dam today so you are not washed away by the silent erosion.